Yeah, so my name is Nitish. So today, uh, my topic is wireless data transferring. So let us start without wasting any further time. So, friends, what is wireless? So, wireless means, in simple manner, we can say that the transferring of any kind of information without any direct connection, or I mean to say, any physical connection. So, we all know many wireless devices such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. So let us go to the next slide. So what is like where is wireless is used? Now friends, this is very simple question. Uh, Now in today's world, uh, we have wireless everywhere because our world is in today's developing world, we have laptops, mobiles, transportation like flights and trains, where there is requirement of some huge amount of data transferring in seconds. Now obviously, it becomes important to transfer the things or the data using wirelessly and with minimum amount of time. So yeah, in today's technology, there are some wireless technologies that are majorly used, such as GSM, LTE, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. So I don't it requires huge amount of time to discuss in deep all these things. I like to go in deep of some topics, and I will give a glimpse on some of the topics. So we shall go forward. So let us see what is global system for mobile communication, how it I want to give an overview on how it works, on what principle it works. So friends, here you can see the image like we have SIM card, mobile devices, base transceiver station, it looks like a tower, and a base station controller, and a mobile service switching center, and some of the requirements are there. So how we can uh, have this thing? So if you see mobile station, it refers to the mobile station, simply it means a mobile phone. And if you see base transceiver system, it also known as BTS, and it maintains a radio component with uh, mobile station or mobile phone. And the base station controller, its function is to allocate necessary time slot between the base transceiver system and the mobile we say MSC. What we say MSC, we will discuss. So the most important thing is that uh, we see mobile phone is a part of our lives. When we talk something, uh, like uh, uh, the antenna inside the phone receives these zeros and ones, and it transmits them in the form of electromagnetic waves. So the electromagnetic waves that are produced by your phone are picked by the tower in your cell. So and it again converts them into high frequency light pulses. These light pulses are carried to the transceiver box, and that are located at the base of the uh, tower for further signal processing. And after processing, your voice signal is routed towards the destination tower, and upon receiving these pulses, the destination tower radiates it outwards in the form of electromagnetic waves, and your friend's phone then receives the signal. So uh, now the problem here is that, uh, friends, we know there are many towers, and the problem comes here basically in choosing the tower. So these problem can be solved by having a SIM. We all have SIM cards in our phone, so it helps uh, in choosing uh, which uh, 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 which tower can be chosen while we contact a person. So if we say how it can be achieved, it can be explained like if we have a SIM card, when we purchase some SIM card in some particular location, it has some information uh, that you are specified to some region. What we say, if you are in Hyderabad or you are in one state, say Telangana, so you will be in that place, and your SIM card can know that yes, you are in this place, and your MSC, what we say is that MSC is of that MSC is the one that that SIM card is allocated to that MSC. So when you contact the person, first of all, that's the same contacts to that MSC, and with the help of the MSC, it further uh, contacts a person, and we can contact him. So the same process occurs uh, when one tries to call for a foreign person. So, or let us say if we are belong to some MSC, and if we are going to some other countries, then similarly the MSC which we are there right now, it will contact to the other MSC, which we call as foreign MSC, so that it will further gives a connection or establish a connection between the person who is contacting us, and uh, so that's it. So next, this is one type of communication which we see and use in daily purpose. The next thing is wireless transmission using Wi-Fi. So friends, we actually uh, in these recent years we have started a huge amount of usage of Wi-Fi everywhere, and it is a very suitable usage, like how it is providing internet at very high speed. We have seen 5G Wi-Fi, etc. So we see how it actually works, and how it led to economic development or etc. So friends, it all started in 1980s. Before 1980s, what happened is the people usually connect to internet using the help with the help of what we say Ethernet cables. So uh, up to some point of time, it became nice. But when people try to try to use them personal computers, I say, or in the public, and when the traffic usage of the computers has been increased, or the traffic usage of internet has been increased, so the situation has came into like this. There are huge amount of wires that are there, and people are the scientists had became tough to how to uh, simplify the situation, or we say how to transfer the information wirelessly between uh, like uh, how to simply to establish to remove these wires and to transmit the information wirelessly using radio waves. So friends, yeah, uh, so this problem is solved uh, by uh, in 1970s only. Actually, this problem is solved by Dr. John O'Sullivan. He is also known as the father of Wi-Fi. And actually, what happened is that in 1970s, uh, there is a work going on in determining the black holes, and in that work, they involved a fast Fourier transforms. But however, even though they have not succeeded in finding out the like black holes, but the mathematics that they have used uh, are are stored. So in 1980s, when scientists are again taken usage of these things like fast Fourier transforms, then they actually did it. And now we see internet which is wireless and fast, uh, and we can now freely access 4G, 3G, and 5G, etc. So this is how it happened. So yeah, uh, the next I want to discuss, like uh, so friends, this is completed. Next, the thing is that now we all know how the data is transferred. Let us say an example how an audio signal is recorded. We already learned in MATLAB of how uh, audio signal is processed, or we say uh, how we can do analysis on the audio signals on making it uh, equal with the other's voice. So in the similar way, let us understand the audio data and Fourier transform FFT and spectrogram features of our speech recognition system. So simply I want to explain how when we are transferring some data using electromagnetic waves, what happens. Like the starting point is that when we speak, uh, the data is converted uh, uh, to the what we say way such that it can be carried out by the electromagnetic waves. So first, when we already plotted this thing, amplitude versus time in MATLAB, which further uh, with the help of the Fourier transform, which converts the time domain to the frequency domain, gives us uh, frequencies, like what frequencies are actually present in the signal, and how one can uh, access this. So if we know the how what amount, what frequencies are there in the uh, audio signal, then we can, with the help of the electromagnetic waves by amplification, we can transfer it to the others, like we said, uh, to other point. So friends, the next part I want to discuss is that how one of the device Bluetooth can be works. So Bluetooth is a simple device. It can be explained with the help of the Wi-Fi only. So it was introduced by first in 1989, and it works a lot like Wi-Fi. It uses radio waves and send data between devices at short distances. So friends, if you see Wi-Fi that uses radio waves and it transmits data with a very high speed. How it is possible can be explained because of its usage of 2.4 gigahertz frequencies. Also, like Bluetooth also uses the same. So at this frequency, we can able to use a mouse, which works within a second without knowing how there is a gap. So this is how it works. Now let's start a different thing. Let's see how fast Fourier transform is helped in communication system. I just want to give some glimpse of how uh, the fast Fourier transform can be a part of communication system. Uh, so friends, uh, if you see uh, the development of the rapid algorithms for the computation of the discrete Fourier transform, or we say fast Fourier transform, has already encouraged the usage of this transform in the communication of, like in the designing of the communication system. Here we describe and analyze data transmission system in which the transmitted signal is a Fourier transform of the original data sequence, and the demodulator is a discrete Fourier transformer. This system is a realization of frequency division multiplexing strategy known as parallel data transmission. It is constructed in this manner so that the data demodulator, after analog to digital conversion, may be a computer program employing one of the fast Fourier algorithms. So the system appears attractive in that it may be entirely implemented by digital circuitry. So we study the performance of this system in the presence of typical linear channel characteristics, like what we say linear thing. So it is shown via computer simulation and computation of the various of errors, how the system corrects linear channel distortion. There's a concept of fast Fourier transform, and more general linear transform receivers, and will not like that, and will not argue the merits of one particular, like whatever we are discussing. It covers the entire thing, maybe as part of some of the whole. So let us start. Uh, so let's first consider. Uh, yeah, basically, the first of all, we like the Fourier transform data communication system that transmits the Fourier transform of the original data signal, and the receiver, like he computes the inverse transform to receive the data. So friends, let us first consider a binary pulse. given by x of t equals to sigma k dk delta of t minus k delta t, uh, where we say that delta t is the interval between two pulses. So, for example, the sequence uh, can be shown uh, uh, in the past features I have shown. So, the Fourier transform of these n successive impulses is x of f equals to say 2 into sigma n equals 0 n minus 1 dn e power minus j 2 pi nf delta t, where here we can see the factor 2 uh, and that is inserted. So it is, if we see e power minus j into 2 pi nf delta t, it is a complex time domain signal. So with the frequency variable uh, f, so when we replace this frequency f equals to e by n, yeah. So when n 80 whole square in 80 power 2, so we will be getting the x of t, x of frequency, that is by substituting we will get in the form of cosine and sine. So when we take the real part of this, uh, when we try to take the real part by considering an and bn, uh, that is an equals to, sorry, what we say, uh, where we say an uh, like uh, dn equals to an plus jbn, or we say. So the existence of this quadrature carrier signal, like we call this as a quadrature carrier signal, it is seen to permit transmitting to an real data instead of n in the time interval n delta t, making the most efficient use of the frequency space. So friends, after uh, passing through the channel, when y of t is transmitted in and it is disorderless, we can take this yk equals to y of k into delta by 2, and taking we get 2 into sigma n equals 0 to n minus 1 an cos 2 pi n by 2n and bn sin 2 pi nk by 2n. So these two ensembles are then used as an input to a discrete Fourier transformer, yielding this thing. So after some steps, successive steps, we will be getting this thing. Now friends, uh, the matter to study this is to know how Fourier transform, which is part of a subject, can be included in communication system. In the further study of this, in wireless data transferring, it is itself a very huge subject. It includes many concepts which are unknown to us, and further study is required. So thank you for uh, hearing me.